Hello, everyone. My real name is Jeanette, but most of you know me as Fiona Tierney. Also, you may know me as the hippie chick. As most of y'all know, I spent 34 months in a state penitentiary from October 2013 to March 2016. During that time, I took classes and programming, and one particular program was the Mosaic program. The Mosaic program is a very intensive therapeutic program that helps people who have had interpersonal trauma in their lives, either their childhood or their adulthood, any point in their lives that may possibly have contributed to their incarceration and various other problems that they may have encountered, such as drug addiction, alcoholism, and criminal behavior. It opened my eyes to a lot of things that had gone on in my life. Some out of my control, some within my control, and some things that I was not aware of, that I had to learn in a class setting, that were red flags, that things in my life and in my loved ones' lives were going seriously wrong. And I had to face things that I really did not want to face. But one of the classes that I learned is DBT. And DBT stands for Dialectical Behavior Therapy. It is not an easy class. If it's an easy class, it means you're not taking it seriously or it doesn't apply to you. But for those that suffer from borderline personality disorder, any kind of schizotypical thought patterns, depression, anxiety, anybody from any walk of life could benefit from DBT, as we all experience trauma. And quite recently, all of us on a global scale experienced the trauma of dealing with a global pandemic. Now, the definition of dialectical is that it relates to the logical discussion of ideas and opinions. Dialectical thinking refers to the ability to view issues from multiple perspectives and to arrive at the most economical and reasonable reconciliation of seemingly contradictory information and postures. Now, to break that down, the most common example that I give to people when I explain what DBT is that, say you're in a discussion with two other people, okay? Dialectical means that you would be able to see where person A is coming from and where person B is coming from. But you, as person C, you have a totally different viewpoint than A or B. But you're able to express your viewpoint respectfully while still honoring person A's viewpoint and person B's viewpoint. And there's various ways that you can do that. For example, here are some ways that I found online of ways to think and act dialectically. You can practice looking at the other points of view. I'm not saying you have to agree with someone. If someone says that the sky is gray, for example, You can look at it and go, well, it is cloudy. Maybe that's why they see it as gray. You can kind of try to see it through their eyes. And even if you can't, at least acknowledge, like, okay, you see the sky as gray. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Now, you got to remember there are multiple sides to a story. Not everything is black or white. There's shades of gray in between. And then if you also remember that no one has the absolute truth. The only time that things are absolute is like in math equations. And even then, sometimes they come up with new theories and they're like, wait a minute, 1 + 1 doesn't always equal 2. Maybe it equals 3. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but just try to bear with me. The next one is very important. Using I feel statements. And it sounds corny, but it works. Okay? Say someone has said something offensive to you or that you feel is offensive. Now, if they say it to your face, you can kind of say, hey, when you said, whatever they said, I felt hurt. I felt upset. That way you're not accusing them of being anything, or you're not trying to twist their words. You're just repeating back what they said and said, hey, that made me feel something that I did not like. Now, they can take that information any way they want. That's their choice. But if they are your friends or your loved ones and they care about you and they care about your feelings, ideally it would cause them to pause for a moment and go, you know what? I could see how that would be hurtful. Allow me to further explain what I was saying to see if maybe that could kind of alleviate whatever hurt I may have caused you to feel. That's how you work out disagreements. Okay? This thing keeps turning off. Now, a very important one is do not assume that you know what is in someone else's head. Check out your assumptions. So, instead of, if someone says the sky looks gray, you don't automatically go, what are you, blind? Are your glasses dirty? What is wrong with you? Instead, ask them, why do you think the sky looks gray? Oh, because it's overcast, it's cloudy, it looks gray today. So, okay. That sounds kind of corny. It's a very basic statement, okay? I'm just trying to break down basic statements, and then I'll get to whatever, okay? Also, in turn, don't expect people to be able to read your mind. If you can't read theirs, they can't read yours. That's just basic logic. Instead, you'd let somebody know, hey, this is what I think. This is how I feel. And yeah, it's a little bit of transparency. It's letting people into your head. But if you're going to have a discussion with someone or you're going to make a statement about something, you have to be willing to hear the other person out, and then you also have to be willing to share. Otherwise it's just this is not going to work. Also, accept that different opinions can be legitimate, even though you may not agree with them. Okay? Understanding someone's point of view is not approval. Okay? Okay, this is an extreme example, but say someone makes a racist comment. You don't agree with it. You feel offended by it. Okay, let's just I'm not trying to say that you are, but I'm just saying as an example. Let's say someone says something to you that's racist. Let's just say you happen to feel offended by what they say. And so what do you mean by saying this, and this? Oh, someone cut you off in traffic and you decided to use that word to describe that particular person because their outward appearance. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. I don't approve of what you said or how you feel, but I understand. You can understand somebody and not accept what they're saying or their opinion. And then the last one is move away from either or thinking to both and thinking. Avoid words like always or never. Okay, always and never are absolute statements. If someone says, oh, it always rains in Southern California, really? Does it? Let's check the weather forecast and see if it is. You know, like, don't always think that not everything is 100%. Not everything is 0%. There's always something in the middle. Okay? And either or thinking, again, that's black and white thinking. By saying that something could be black to someone, could be dark gray to another. For example, someone who's colorblind, okay? They literally do not have enough cones and rods in their eyes, like physically in their eyes, to be able to perceive the same colors as somebody with normal, quote unquote, eyesight. That doesn't mean that their vision, that what they're seeing is wrong. That's just their perception of what they're seeing. Now, for an eye doctor, they're going to say, well, that's not healthy. You need to be able to see all colors or learn to adapt. But me, I'm not an ophthalmologist. So for me to sit there and tell somebody that they're looking at a color and calling it the wrong color, it's not exactly kind. It's not exactly mindful of their feelings. And quite frankly, I'm not qualified. So sometimes when somebody makes an opinion or states an opinion and sets it free out onto the internet, and people are going to jump on that person for stating what is their opinion. Opinions are not facts, you guys. They're just opinions. They're just different ways of looking at something. Depending on the angle, depending on your involvement, everything. There's so many factors that go into forming an opinion. I can't even describe it all because I haven't studied it all, but I've done a lot of thinking on this. And this year has made everything such a big fucking deal. The fact that Facebook used to be considered a social media platform. Many people joined Facebook because they were like, oh, it's another way of communicating with people. Oh, it's another way to post pictures and share news with loved ones and friends that are scattered all over the world. For me, I joined Facebook because I was playing a game. I was playing Guild Wars, and I was getting kind of tired of MySpace. It was kind of turning into like a, I don't know. It just was corny. I didn't like it anymore. I don't really remember what made me change, but it was back in 2007. I created a Facebook account. Didn't really start actively using it like a lot until about 2008 or so. And then from there, it just kind of took off and installed it on my phones And then they came out with Facebook Messenger, so I installed that. Then there was Facebook Games, and I played those on my computer. If anybody remembers Restaurant City, that was fun, right? I still get memories that pop up from time to time of the little cafe that I created in that game. And those were fun times, and they were great. And I miss playing video games. In fact, I ended up installing some on my Chromebook that I like to play, but they're not the same as the ones I used to play, and that's fine. Things change. But over this last year, since March, okay, I'll just go since March, because January and February were like a blur to me, because I got really badly sick around the first of the year, and then after that, things are fuzzy, okay? Now, this whole pandemic has been a major trauma for a lot of people, and for whatever personal reasons that everybody seems to have, Trump is not a very popular person, okay? He's kind of like in comparison with evil, the forces of evil or what have you, okay? But here's the thing. Just because somebody may have similar viewpoints to that particular politician does not mean they support that person. And the other day when I made that post, I felt that that was something that I could pretty much stand behind. It was a copy and paste. I edited a little bit for my own because some things I didn't quite jive with. So I edited a little bit, but it was, for the most part, a copy and paste that I saw on somebody else's page, and I was like, yeah, I could agree with that. And if anybody wants me to break down line by line, sentence by sentence, that whole thing, and what my viewpoints were on every single sentence, I can, but I don't see the point. And I don't see the point of being on a social media platform anymore when I'm going to get attacked and accused of supporting Trump. Okay, what people do not seem to realize is that politics were designed to divide the people. They were not designed to do anything else. Because back before there was politics, okay, yes, there were monarchies, there were this, there were that. But for the most part, whenever the king called, hey, we're going to war against that kingdom, people joined the troops and fought with the king. The king was on the front line and fought with the people. And everybody had a clear and common goal, and everybody worked together. But the second they bring in democracy, it became, let's split up the people into different groups and have them fight amongst themselves, and then it'll be easier to control them. See, the thing is everybody talks about unity, but nobody seems to have a solution or even a desire to want to unite with people. And the thing about dialectical thinking is that I can sit there and sit across the table from somebody who has the exact opposite view that I do, and we could still have a pleasant conversation. We don't have to talk politics. There's other things you can talk about. You can talk about art, music, whatever. Comic books, whatever. And that's why I added so many of you, because you have so many different views that I could learn from. But when you basically spit in my face and accuse me of things, because for the most part, the comment threads seemed to be pretty good. I was getting some different opinions. There was getting some dialogue, people commenting back and forth to each other. And I was like, okay, I inspired some discussion. Then all of a sudden I see a comment saying, I can't believe that you're the type of person that would post this. And then another person jumped in and said, wow, aren't you a Trump supporter? And I said, that's it. I'm deleting the whole thing and I'm done. I have been on Facebook for 13 years and I am done. I'll still keep in touch here and there, but I am not posting anything. I am installing the app off my phone. I'm going to keep Messenger, but it is not turned on, so if I see messages, it's not going to be right away. I'm done. This year has taught me many things, and one of the main things is that I spend far too much caring about what other people think of my opinions than what I think of my opinions. And that's wrong. I'm tired of trying to make people happy, most of whom I've never met in real life. I am not here to impress anybody. I'm not here to win any kind of popularity contest. If you hate me for this post, hate me. If it makes you feel good, if it helps you sleep at night to hate somebody whom you've never met, go right ahead. I'm not trying to tell anybody to agree with me or side with me or fight for me. Think or feel whatever you like. But when somebody states an opinion, instead of jumping on their backs and trying to beat them about the head with your opinion, why not stop and ask them why they said that or why they feel that way? And some of y'all actually did. You private messaged me and said, hey, what's wrong? What happened? Are you okay? And I appreciate that. I didn't respond right away because I was very upset. And I was just like, I don't even know what to say. And it took me this long to actually come up with a proper response where I was like, you know what? Maybe people just don't understand where I'm coming from. You know, maybe it took me to have to go to prison in order to learn a skill, a thinking process, a totally different thinking process than what I'd never learned in my life before. Like, thank you to all these institutions that I lived in growing up from age 5 to 19. They didn't do jack shit in teaching me how to be a functional, healthy, emotionally and mentally healthy adult in this world. It took me to go to prison to learn that. That's sad. And I figured, you know what? Knowledge is power. And sharing is caring, right? So I figured I'd share my knowledge of dialectical thinking with all of you and then bow out. Because I'm done. I'm done seeing all the squabbling. I'm done seeing all of the politics, the mud throwing, the name calling. We've reduced ourselves to grade school antics and high school mentality. Whatever happened to like people posting fun things? You know, I like seeing people post a meme, you know, or people post pictures of their trip that they went on, or a new baby, or a wedding, or whatever it may be, you know, any kind of life events. And I enjoyed sharing my moments with everybody else too. But if it's going to end up being to where I can't even express my opinions on my own page without being condemned by people who don't even know me. Most of y'all don't even know me. I could probably count on both hands and still have fingers left of the number of people who actually do know me. Who've actually gotten a real hug from me. Who knows where I've been and where I am and where I'm going. And I don't expect all of you to know all of those things. But those that do know me, y'all probably know the most how much this has hurt me to come to this point. And I'm sorry if this hurts anybody. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to be like, I'm human. We're all human. We all bleed the same color red. All of our organs are all the same pink. Unless you smoke, but we're not going there. You know, Some of us are short, some of us are tall, some of us are fat, some of us are skinny, some of us are this or that. It doesn't matter, we're all human beings first. We were all born on this planet with certain rights. And the number one right is the right to think and feel whatever the hell we want. But if we choose to be mindful, caring, understanding, empathetic people, then maybe we honor other people's opinions and thoughts and feelings. And then maybe this world has a chance of surviving, but I don't see it. You know, I'm Buddhist. I try to take the middle path. It's very hard. You know, when I feel like I have no one I can share my thoughts and opinions with for fear of condemnation, it's very lonely. Have any of y'all felt lonely in a crowd? Felt lonely at a party that was for you? Felt like nobody really truly understood you? No one really accepted you the way you were. They just accepted a facsimile of you, an image that you try to project in order to gain acceptance. I have. I've felt that all my life. I've always felt like I don't fit in on this planet. And maybe I don't. But I also don't want to show the chinks in my armor, and I think the longer I stay on Facebook, the more the chinks in my armor will show. And it'll give people that may or may not have my best intentions in mind, it gives them a chance to wound me. And I'm not on that. I'm a very guarded person in real life. I may share a lot of things about my life, but that's my life. It's not my heart, it's not my soul, it's not my mind. It's just things going on in my life. And I don't share my thoughts and feelings with very many people. And it's because all my life, every time that I ever did, I would either get literally beaten down or verbally beat down for it. And I became an introvert because I'd rather have my own company, because at least if I'm going to judge me, at least I'm not going to hurt me. And I wish all of you the best. I really do. Made some really good friends along the way, and I'll still be around for you know, sporadic communication, but I'm not going to post anything. I'm done. You know, I might create an Instagram page for all of my paintings, and that's mostly just to try to sell the ones that I don't really want to keep, but my online presence is not really needed anymore. And yesterday proved that it's not really wanted. My real opinions and my real thoughts and feelings on things are not really needed or wanted online anymore. And for me to think that my thoughts, feelings, and opinions were important enough to be posted on the internet anyway is pretty narcissistic of me. So, thank you to everyone for all the memories, and for those of you that think that it's okay to bash people for having a different opinion than you, who may feel differently than you do, who may have different thoughts than you do, fucking rotate. Because everyone has the opinion, and it's fine to have their own opinion. And not everybody has the same viewpoint. But if you're willing to acknowledge that fact, that is the only fact that is true, that everyone has their own opinion. If you're not willing to accept that fact, that everyone has the right to their own opinion, and that not everybody has to agree with you, then good luck. Good luck with life, because people are going to think differently. People are going to feel differently. That's just the way it is. So, peace.